friends, this is Caitlin, and today we're going to be taking a look at how I film my YouTube videos, as well as how I take my pictures and edit them for all of my different social media platforms. I'm going to be trying to give you a look at just a realistic, everyday kind of filming setup and kind of just what my process looks like. By no means am I trying to tell you that this is the best or only way. I just wanted to share with you what's been working for me. When I started out on this journey, I had a hard time kind of finding some of this information, and a lot of it was trial and error. So I wanted to make some of it a little more accessible to anyone who may be looking at some 2023 goals of starting or growing their channel or platforms, and just give you kind of a place to start. I do film all of my videos and take all my pictures on my phone. I found that my phone has a better kind of camera than most of the other actual cameras that I could afford right now. So I have been making it work with just using my phone, and I'm going to show you all of my other setup and tips and tricks, and let's go ahead and jump in. So I wanted to give you guys a closer look at my filming setup and talk to you about how I've been making my videos. I don't know about you, but I definitely suffer from imposter syndrome. And so it took me well over a year to make this video because I wanted to feel really good about the information I was giving you. So you can see here I have 4 lights set up around my filming. I have these 2 guys that are on tripods. This one is from the same pack. It was a 3-pack of LED lights that I'll have linked down below. But this one I have just on a little tabletop tripod. And then I have a super bright light in my lamp. So I have everything generally kind of facing upwards, nothing pointed straight down at my table, and that's just to help with shadows. It's kind of unavoidable for me in the setup and the angles and the kind of limited space that I'm working with to have some shadows, but this kind of setup with all my lights kind of pointing at each other really helps to kind of disperse and minimize those. So the arm that I use for holding my camera is this guy. I love it because all you have to do is twist here and it goes up and down. It raises up and down this way. This part bends. It's hard to do one-handed because I have it tightened really well. And then this you can rotate to do like portrait reels, landscape for YouTube, and kind of also nice because when I'm coloring I can kind of get down there and put it at an angle so that my fingers aren't blocking whatever I am coloring. So my camera usually just sits in here like this, and so you guys see my desktop, which definitely needs to be refinished. This is just cheap vinyl that I bought and put on top of my desk, and it's going to need to be peeled off and replaced with this new year. I think I got a pretty good run out of it, but so I like my setup because, as I've showed in my other videos, I have most of my supplies that I use for majority of my cars right here within arm's reach. I did want to give you a little update on my organization because I have joined 2 more design teams since I shared that before, and so I wanted to make room. So you can see over here, this is just leftover kind of empty storage. These 3 bins really are empty, and that is to make way because I am now on Purple Onion Designs and scrapbookpal.com design teams. I'm very excited, but I'm anticipating that this is not going to be enough space. So what my husband decided to do was help me clean out a coat closet. And so now this is my kids' crafting supplies down here. And now I have, that's makeup up there. And shipping stuff, some of my same stuff that was over there before has now just been moved to here. And this is for a Halloween, Christmas craft that's just temporary. So putting in that unit in my coat closet has now freed up a ton of space over here so that I have plenty of room for new adventures. So I do want to say that I keep all of my 12 by 12 scrapbook paper that I use for my backgrounds in this big container, which lives on top of my shelves. And then seasonally, I swap out this little area of my my shelving unit here. This is kind of just decorative, but sometimes I'll bring in these guys for a little bit of staging. But this is what I use most. I just swapped out all of my fall for my Christmas stuff. These are just little picks that I've gotten and kind of torn apart from different craft stores, dollar store. And I will show you how I use some of these things along with my paper to stage my card pictures. Okay, so these are my 3 most used pieces of scrapbook paper. I really like to try to stick with neutrals, something with a little bit of detail. I found that just plain cardstock doesn't make me happy. You use whatever makes you happy, but I love a little bit of pattern. Still trying to stick with mostly neutral colors. And I try to tie the colors into whatever I am using with my card. Let's use this guy. So this is a card I made for my husband to give to a friend. All right, and you could line that up like that. I like to make sure that my card is straight compared to the other lines on my paper. I normally do take my pictures about this far away from my tabletop. At night, if I don't have an option, I will take these pictures here with this lighting, and you can see from up here, I don't have a ton of shadowing. If possible, I will wait and take a bunch of pictures all at one time in my bay window in my living room on a cloudy day. During the summer, it's a lot easier to get in and take pictures before the sun is too up high or as the sun is starting to set. But in the winter, my time it never works out right. So I either have to wait for a cloudy-ish day or start implementing my lighting system a little bit more. So I always like to check over my cards and make sure like there was a little hair on there, a dog hair. Make sure there's nothing on my cards. I have had to edit some of that stuff out afterwards, and it is a pain in the butt. So something else I really like to do if I'm going to do some staging is, I've talked about this before, I have 2 Jenga blocks that I took from my kids' toy collection from the dollar store, and I just put one underneath, pop up the card, and again, you can see the shadows really aren't too crazy, but it just gives that little bit of extra dimension, but now it also gives me the chance to play around with some staging. So something really simple are like little pieces of greenery. I like to stick them coming from up under the card. If you find that your thing is too thick, that's why I like the Jenga blocks. I can just rotate it and have the taller side there. Let's spin that around. And kind of just zhuzh and move things until you are happy. Take a couple pictures, swap it out. These aren't necessarily on theme, but another thing I like to do if I don't want something coming from underneath is to place some of my pics kind of at an angle on the top and the bottom. You want them close enough so that when you crop in your picture, you can still see them. But not kind of blocking, or I don't love it when things go in front or on top of my card. I really want my card to be the focus here, not so much the staging. The staging should just be enhancing your project, not taking away from it. So something really simple like this, take a couple pictures, zoom it in. I edit all of my pictures in Lightroom, which is, I believe, free from Adobe. All right, so bear with me. We're going to come way up high, and this just helps with any curving. We're going to take a picture. We're going to go into Lightroom. Okay, and then to edit, I will start by cropping. We want to make sure that our project is a 1x1 for Instagram. Now you can do different sizes if you want. You can see my iPad was a little crooked. So let's do straighten. Yeah, I don't love that. Let's do that again. So sometimes what will happen is my card will be too far over on that Jenga block, and my phone has a really cool thing where it tells me if the picture I'm taking is flat. So let's go one by one, crop in. We're gonna do an auto straighten. I think that does look pretty good. So you can see we have some strong shadowing on this side versus this side. So you can do an auto edit on here. I'm gonna go in, let's do auto and then we'll adjust from there. So this will let you lighten your shadows. So we're gonna lighten that shadow a little bit. We wanna make sure we're not losing any of the darkness, of our coloring. Increase our exposure a little bit. There's a lot of different videos on YouTube and stuff you can check out with different people's kind of recommendations on presets, but I've kind of just found that playing with my settings has kind of helped me figure out what I really like. So I think that is pretty good. So we're going to export that to camera roll. We're going to save it. And you can see now we have a pretty cute picture of our card. And if this was for a design team, I could go in and add in my watermark, whatever I wanted to do. Thank you guys so much for coming to hang out with me today. I hope that you learned something, you picked up a few ideas, and if nothing else, that maybe it made this whole process seem a little less intimidating. If you have any questions about anything that I showed or talked about, or even anything that I didn't talk about, go ahead and leave them down in that comment section below, and I will keep an eye out for those. If you have any other ideas of videos that you want to see in the future like this, please also let me know. I would love to share anything that I've learned with you guys. I cannot tell you how much it means to me that you are here watching this. I appreciate you so much, and I hope that you have an amazing week. As always, happy crafting. Bye guys.